Let's get the latest on the drama in D.C. after Kevin McCarthy yesterday became the first ever House Speaker to be voted out of that position. Now lawmakers are treading water weeks ahead of another potential shutdown. Here to discuss that impact from Washington to Wall Street, Seiber is former executive Washington editor at the Wall Street Journal, and Jaret is financial services and housing policy analyst at TD Cowen Washington Research Group. Welcome to both of you. Jerry, I feel like we asked if you could come out of retirement for this because it's just so extraordinary the past 24 hours. What are your thoughts?
Well, look, it doesn't feel like I came out of retirement because this story hasn't changed. I mean, there are three things to keep in mind here. One is we are in totally uncharted waters here. You know, we've never done this. Nobody's ever done this before. So I don't know what happens next. But second point is this is just a continuation of a decade-plus long fight within the Republican Party between more traditional conservatives and more populist Republicans. You know, John Boehner got worn out by that and went away. Paul Ryan got worn out by that and went away. Eric Cantor got kicked out, and now Kevin McCarthy. This is a struggle that is not resolved. It's underway and it's continuing, and it's going to continue, which is going to produce some continued uncertainty. And I think that leads to the third point here, which is nothing's been resolved. We have no answer to any questions about who's going to be the leader that emerges from all this, much less how the House is going to resolve the issues about spending and immigration in Ukraine that threatened to shut down the government a week ago, and that will threaten to shut down the government again in November.
And Jaret, you're sort of pointing out, look, we're in uncharted territory with the Speaker pro tem, especially when it comes to handling, drumroll please, the spending bill.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
Exactly. You know, I mean, I think the big challenge here is that we have an acting speaker. We've never had this before. No one really knows what powers he has. And in fact, he might be much more powerful than everyone realizes. You know, if nobody objects, you know, he might be the one who has to take the arrow for the rest of the Republican conference, cut a deal, and then you can have the leadership election for speaker. Because otherwise, you know, as we were just discussing, I don't know how they get to a deal on the budget. You know, the very details that cause Kevin McCarthy to lose his job, that's the same deal that the new Republican leader is going to have to take. It's not like there's going to be radical change.
So, Jaret, what would you say to investors here? And I'm not sure which investors I'm even talking about, right? I mean, there's Treasury investors who, I know we were just debating it, but are worried about deficits. You know, there's investors in all sorts of policy areas that could potentially be affected by this. What jumps to the forefront of your mind?
They're just not going to get any other real legislation done until the lame duck. And so if there's a bill that you're worrying about, you know, that worry can be a lot less. The possible exception is flood insurance. There has to be a deal on flood insurance. I can't believe that we're really going to shut down 9,000 mortgage closings a week after November 17th. But beyond a couple of few things, I would essentially view this Congress as closed until after the election.
And Jerry Seiber, what further implications do you see from that?
Well, I think you're going to, first of all, there's one big one that doesn't affect the markets necessarily directly, but I think is really important, which is aid to Ukraine. I mean, it's going to be hard in this environment, and that's an important priority for the Biden administration, for a lot of Republicans, and for the country. And I think that is hanging out there as a big, big question mark. I think beyond that, the idea that you're going to have some kind of a coming together now, as you have at various times in the last 2 decades, to have a sensible fiscal package that tries to address the deficit without creating shockwaves. You know, that's been done in Washington periodically over the last 2 decades. I just don't see how that happens in this environment. And so I think anybody who's looking for sensible fiscal policy to come out of this scenario, this picture that we're talking about, is going to be sorely disappointed. So that's the other thing that would worry me. How do you resolve very important budget issues in a time when that does matter to the markets? And I just don't see that happening.
Yeah, fair enough. And Jaret, go ahead. Last word.
Oh, I was just saying, if I can add there, don't forget what's looming on the horizon. All the Trump tax cuts, you know, all the key ones for business, those all, you know, we have a lot, and consumers, those start expiring in 2025. And so somewhere we're going to have to get the money to fund that. We're going to need, you know, both sides of the aisle, both sides of Capitol Hill to come together on that. And so if we can't even fund the government, I do think the risk of what's going to happen to all those tax cuts is much higher than the market is taking.
Yeah, guys, thank you both. We really appreciate your thoughts today on a hectic 24 hours in Washington, and it ain't over yet.